91.5 WBIM presents Bridgewater's Saturday Night Soundtrack with Robb Hicks. Whoever you're with, wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, don't stop. Just turn us up. Coming to you live from the Adrian Rondelou Campus Center. We are your destination for commercial-free classic rock to power your nights. Bruce Springsteen, Tom Petty, Pearl Jam, Eric Clapton, AC/DC, Zeppelin, Foo Fighters, Aerosmith, The Clash, Nirvana, Guns N' Roses, Rolling Stones, Soundgarden, Van Halen, and hundreds more. 5 decades, thousands of songs, and one show to rule them all.
All kinds of cool bands.
You guys rock! We are all request at 508-531-1303.
I can hear what I want when I want.
Every song just rocks.
So go get some food in the belly, gas in the tank, and prepare to make your Saturday night something classic. The Saturday Night Soundtrack with Robb Hicks begins now on Bridgewater's own 91.5 WBIM.
Hey, 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 mama.
And it's 91.5 WBIM Bridgewater. Saturday Night Soundtrack is underway, so welcome. Robb Hicks here, Steve Rimmer, our intern Brendan Smith is with us, and Jarrod Barbetta, sadly, is not going to be with us this evening. It's not like he's no longer with us. I'm not saying that Jarrod Barbetta is sadly no longer with us. I'm just saying that he's not with us tonight. He's got other obligations, and he'll be back with us next week. So Jarrod is okay. Nobody panic.
Oh, so he's alive?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, crap. I'll run through the usual litany here. You can like us on Facebook, Saturday Night Soundtrack. You can follow us on Twitter, at SN Soundtrack. And don't forget to check out livestream.com or the Livestream app, which is free, the iTunes and Google Play stores. With that, you can listen to us anywhere. And as John Coombs just mentioned, and Steve and I were talking about off the air, technically, SNS is now an international radio program. You can hear us anywhere.
Anywhere.
Steve was doing the math for us to figure out how his friend and family over in England could hear us, and realized that, yes, they can, potentially. It's just going to be 10 o'clock there at night when they start listening to the show. I don't see a problem with that personally. I think that 10 o'clock at night, 10 to...
She's 60 years old. I don't think she'll be listening to us at 10 o'clock at night.
I don't see a problem with it, is what I'm saying.
No.
You know, just reinvent your life. You know what I mean? It's 60 years old. It's never too early. It's never too late to reinvent your life. 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. classic rock for 6 hours. I don't really see a problem. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So,
she'll give it a blast, I'm sure.
Yeah, good. So, welcome back to Brendan. Glad you survived the first week, and you're going to be back. You're back tonight, and
you didn't scare me off. Yeah, I'm here.
That's good so far. 1 for 1.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed that's funny too is as far as creatures of habit are concerned, I noticed that you guys always sit in the same seats, and this is even before Brendan came in. Steve always sits on the left, or my left, your right in that room, and Jarrod always sits in the middle seat. And when Mikey D comes in, he usually sits over there. You're sitting over there now, Brendan, and Mikey D is just going to hover over your shoulder like a vulture.
We do have an extra set of phones tonight.
You do, yeah, so that's good. There's enough of those to go around. Yep. But I noticed that you've even left and I guess it would be bizarre if you didn't, so in this particular case it makes sense.
It just wouldn't be right to take his spot.
No, but you left the seat of respect in the middle. It's sort of like leaving the urinal of respect in the middle. You know what I mean? When I'm in there...
There's no need for me to encroach on him and be right next to him.
I didn't even think about sitting there.
I get how sometimes, you'll go in and maybe it's just the timing of the people that had been in there and already left. But if I'm in there doing my business, nobody else is there, why do you come up and stand right next to
That's never acceptable.
Don't take the one right next to me. Come on, man. There's some etiquette involved here, and you're just breaking it all over the place.
Literally breaking.
Yes, absolutely. We'll do our normal routine. Take a Facebook and Twitter tally, because we always like to get new likes and we always like to get new followers. So once again, Saturday Night Soundtrack on Facebook, at SN Soundtrack on Twitter. I'm happy to report that we did not lose any followers on Facebook or Twitter. So that's good. I'm also a little sad to report that we did not pick up any new likes in either place.
Ooh, you suck.
Maybe we will. I don't know.
With all those people that called last week, that's surprising.
See, that's what I'm saying. All the people that called, there should have been a little bit more of a pickup. You know what I mean? Like you guys are realizing that the show's out there. You obviously like the program, except for that one guy that called and told us to shut up and play some music. Yes. With the exception of him, you obviously all, sort of reasonably like the programming we're putting out here. So why don't you follow us and find out what the hell's going on? So
true.
That's my first rant of the evening, and I'm sure there'll be many more as we go along. Brendan, I think the most important question before we head into the next classic rock block is: are you ready for all your responsibilities this evening?
Oh, prepared, 100%.
When I say that, what I mean is primarily you're probably going to be the one who's going to have to order and coordinate the picking up of our food. You're not going to have to pick up the food, but you're most likely going to have to order it and potentially coordinate with the delivery people to make sure they know where the heck we are.
Yes. I think if Jarrod can handle it, I can handle it.
Steve's got the built-in...
I'd back away.
He's got the built-in cop-out. He's always like...
I have phobia about ordering. Nobody can ever understand.
You have a fear?
Yeah, I can't do drive-through. I can't do delis. I can't do ordering
even at a
by
restaurant,
phone.
the waiter comes to take your order?
That's fine. If it's face-to-face,
yes,
no problem. But via phone or by little microphones, no, it doesn't work.
I am actually the same way, and I have as little accent as you can get, and I still feel like people either don't understand me or maybe more so I don't understand them. Yeah. For some reason, I get on the phone and all of a sudden it's just everything is just gibberish to me.
The wife always does it.
So with that in mind, please call us at 508-531-1303. Make a request. I'm sure I can do better than Jarrod did last week when he's like, this guy wants to hear a Boston song. Which one did he say?
What was the guy's name?
I don't actually know. I think he wanted to hear More Than a Feeling. Guy calls back. Yeah, rock and roll band? Yeah, no, totally different song. Cool anyway, though. Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. So, guys ready for some music?
Yep. You know it.
All right, let's get into the first classic rock block of the evening. Going to kick it off with a live track from Fleetwood Mac, and this was them paying tribute to the old Peter Green days.
Saturday nights with Robb Hicks. He's like Wolfman Jack, without the beard, money, or timeless popularity.
Coincidence? I think not.
Bridgewater's Saturday night soundtrack on 91.5 WBIM.
Elton John, 91.5 WBIM Bridgewater. SNS radio show. That one off his legendary Madman Across the Water album. Robb Hicks, Steve Rimmer, Brendan Smith. That's 537. Steve, did you hear about
Putin?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
So for any of you who are not in the know, don't feel bad. We're just we're entertainment professionals.
We're geeks.
We have to keep up with these stories. I prefer entertainment professionals. We got to keep up with these stories for you. So apparently, within the past, I don't know, what was it, like a week ago or so?
A couple of
10
weeks
days ago. Within the past couple of weeks, there was a Russian talk. They're like a talk show or like a comedian duo, right?
Yes.
And they prank called Elton John, pretending to be from Vladimir Putin's office, and one of them pretended to actually be Putin. And I love saying Putin.
Putin.
I just want to say Putin all the time, even if it's not relevant to the discussion.
Yeah.
And they spoke to Elton John directly?
Yeah, they spoke to Elton John directly for it was like 10 or 15 minutes. It was an extraordinarily long period of time.
And he didn't buy it, did he?
For a prank call. He bought it hook, line, and sinker into it. Yeah. So, and then he found out about it, and there was some embarrassment, obviously.
Sorry, what was the issue? I forgot now.
Well, it was about gays. It was like the LGBT rights, and how Elton John said that he really wanted to have a dialogue with the government of Russia and talk about what they could do to help progress, gay, lesbian rights, and so on and so forth.
Oh, so you're saying he was expecting the call?
No, well, he wasn't expecting it, but it was one of those things where I think he almost got, if a guy like Elton John could get starstruck, I think he almost got starstruck by the idea that Putin's office was actually calling him and wanting his input on, that type of topic and what could actually be done.
Yeah.
So they talked to him, and it's one of those things where, and I heard I didn't get any snippets from it, but because I was going to get some clips from it to play here on the show.
I was about to say, yeah, we need a recording to.
The problem was it was all very dry, and it almost makes me think that I feel like they almost thought maybe it would go funnier than it did.
Yes.
Like at some point, like a couple of minutes in, Elton John would be like, "You blokes," and hang up on him or say something, and nothing like that happened. It was basically, forgive, by the way, my horrible British impression.
I thought that was pretty good.
Okay, good. I do that sometimes, and I remember I get a British guy in the room. I probably shouldn't, because everybody always sounds like Stewie from Family Guy when I try to impersonate a British person. You always sound like Stewie. I don't know why. You shouldn't, because you don't. but it's just how it comes out.
I don't mind that.
Okay, good.
Stewie.
All right, good. I'm batting 1,000 here.
Yes.
So anyway, I think.
Well, have you noticed there's a lack of dissension in the studio tonight?
Have you noticed that I've been able to complete I don't know how many sentences already in a row?
Yes.
One thought all the way through. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, it's glorious. So I get the impression that the comedians probably thought it was going to be funnier than it was, and then it got serious because he was just taking it so seriously that there wasn't a lot they could do with it at that point.
And it took about a week before
it did.
He really found out about it.
It took a while to surface, and then he played it as classy as Elton John is, because Elton John's a classy dude. I love that guy.
Yeah.
He's just been. I don't know. He's one of those musicians where I'm like, I get him, and he has his politics and he has his causes, but he's not overbearing about them, Ted Nugent. He's not, he's not a jackass about them, Ted Nugent. He's not, and he basically just doesn't shove it down your throat, Bono.
Be careful with your words.
I know, right? But, but you know what I mean? He's not too overbearing about any of it, so I like him, and his response to it was basically, he understood what happened and it had been brought to light, and then he said, but if being pranked by these two gentlemen could bring more light to the cause, then he was proud to have been
They must have just felt bad at that point. They're trying to prank this guy, and he's not even, preaching to them. He's just being genuine.
Not only did they feel bad, but Putin's office actually did call him after that.
So he got what he wanted.
He actually ended up talking to Putin. It was brief. It was not a 10 or 15 minute conversation like the prank call was. But I guess he basically just said at some point, he would be willing to do a face-to-face sometime. And
be careful of the words.
Yeah, right. There's no problem until you point it out. What are you being Jarrod for the evening?
Yeah, somebody has to be.
That's true. That's very true.
I do believe Elton John is the true Queen of England.
Hey, speaking of the Queen of England, did you see, do you watch, just to harp on the British thing just a little bit more, do you watch John Oliver at all? I know you don't have HBO, but I don't know if you have access to any, a lot of clips from his shows show up on, YouTube.
I know of him.
And things like that. His show's hilarious, number one. Number two, they did a thing, obviously, within the past couple of weeks. I can't remember if it was last week or the week before that.
Last week.
Queen Elizabeth just
became the longest reigning monarch.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So they were showing her, just pictures of her throughout the years, and they were basically showing, just how irritable she always looked.
Oh, God, yes.
And
although I just got a picture of her sitting in a posed photograph with some Highland soldiers.
Yeah.
With the kilts. And the guy sitting next to is not quite in full uniform. Yes.
Maybe we should tweet that out, sir.
Yes, definitely.
We potentially should tweet that out. But they're going through, they're showing all these pictures of her where she just looks just pissed off to be wherever she is. And then to top it all off, there was, and I can't remember the name of the guy, but there was some reporter who was basically just talking about her like she was completely superfluous. Basically just saying, if this was her big... I can't remember what he said. He was trying to make it sound nice, but he basically just made it sound like she's a figurehead and she doesn't really serve much of a purpose, which I agree with.
Tourist attraction.
But you probably shouldn't have said it on television, especially while she's standing right in back of you. That was the kicker, was he's saying all this stuff, and it was one of those things she's behind you. She's right behind you. She might be able to hear what you're saying. Yeah. So, I was going to be... It's always a sensitive...
she still has the rights to not sign things, if she's so deemed.
Oh, I'm sure. That's got to be... I don't see why that would ever go away, because in her position, technically, if she signed stuff, she could probably get some folks in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that totally makes sense. And it's one of those things where it's always a sensitive issue. I'm not sure how, you coming from England, I don't know how you feel about the monarchy and the Queen and all those things. Okay.
That sums it up.
Can you just restate that just so that we're clear? Okay, good. Just want to make sure.
I was never a monarchist. I'm sorry. I really wasn't.
Totally fine. Fine. I don't, and this is my own ignorance because I don't even know I don't know what the majority opinion is You know what I mean? Coming from here, we hear about the monarchy all the time, but I don't know what everybody thinks over there.
Probably goes by age.
Okay.
My parents are both huge monarchy fans, but not my generation.
Hopefully they're not listening on live stream right now. Another big classic rock block on the way. Coming up, we're going to kick off the next block with a song that, for no reason whatsoever, but I still always do feel like the ending just sounds incredibly creepy.
So, you just spent hours putting together the perfect classic rock playlist?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's so cute. The Saturday night soundtrack with Robb Hicks on 91.5 WBIM.
It's free, 91.5 WBIM Bridgewater. Saturday night soundtrack. That one was off the Fire and Water album, not to be confused with Earth, Wind, and Fire or anything else that may contain elements. It's 5 after 6. Robb Hicks, Steve Rimmer, Brendan Smith. Did you like that expectant pause?
Dramatic effect.
You know what I mean? Like I would give you a drum roll, but there's no drums in here, so I can't do that. Best I can do is just give you a pregnant pause.
Oh, it helped.
Hope you enjoyed it.
So, hey.
Had Jarrod been here, it would have been filled in with dialogue.
And had Jarrod been here on this very auspicious day,
Yes.
with it being Batman Day,
Oh.
can you imagine?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
He'd be like, hey, can we dedicate 25 minutes to talk about Batman? No, we really can't, sir. We can dedicate 10 minutes, perhaps, to talk about Batman if someone doesn't call and tell us to shut up during the conversation.
Yeah.
Beyond that point, no. I can't really promise 25 minutes on Batman.
Batman.
I like Batman, but let's relax.
Not that much.
Yeah. So, 508-531-1303. Like us on Facebook, Saturday Night Soundtrack. You can follow us on Twitter at SN Soundtrack. And you can listen to us live at livestream.com or the free livestream app.
As are two of our old colleagues.
Are they really?
Sean Libby and John King. Apparently.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Well, glad you're listening, guys. And give us a call if you feel like. And if you don't, we're just happy to know that you're listening.
Exactly.
We don't really we like the calls. But a lot of times the calls are just sort of like a litmus test to find out how many people are actually listening to us.
Yeah, and then we have to play music.
Yeah, so if we are...
But we might not
we can't talk for 20 minutes about Batman or the Queen.
Yeah.
So if we know you're listening, that's good enough. And he, not only did he say, hey, I'm listening, because most people, okay, so you're listening. That's great. I'm sure. Are you really listening? But he referenced, one of our former colleagues actually referenced something we just...
Exactly. And he laughed. So.
Proof that he was listening.
So.
So.
We're bringing a smile to these faces.
That's all we need. That's all we need. Livestream.com and the Livestream app. Oh, and I was going to mention the YouTube channel as well. So if you search for Saturday Night Soundtrack on YouTube and then you filter for channels, you're going to find all of our clips from all of our shows are posted up there. I think absolutely... I have to go back. I want to go back and do the ones, only the ones since you joined, Steve, are actually up there.
Oh, okay.
I have to go back, and from November and December of 2014 was when I was just with Jarrod. And those have not been cut up and posted yet because I wasn't doing that at that time. But better late than never, so I can get them up there at some point. Just didn't really get into full swing on that until last semester. And then realized that it was a pretty cool thing to do.
Yes.
So, the other thing I was going to mention, since
actually, my sister has listened to some of those over in England. So,
oh, has she really?
International once again.
And every once in a while, I'll see somebody gives like the little thumbs up. I don't know if maybe that's you. I don't know, but somebody's listening.
I don't listen to them.
Okay, good. So somebody, I don't mean good, but I mean that means that somebody other than you is giving the thumbs up to it, and I doubt it's
me.
I doubt it's Jarrod. Have you gone out and checked them out yet, Brendan?
I have not.
So he hasn't.
So,
yeah, no. So
I've let you down.
Your homework, you should be familiar with homework because you're a college student. Your homework for your internship here this week is to check out our YouTube channel and let us know what you think.
YouTube I can do.
Yeah. And not only is it going to be good for you to sort of get an idea of, what we do every week, what we post every week. Number one, it's in your own best interest because you're on the one we just posted because we just posted the one from last week on like Monday. So you're on them. And number two, you get to, you'll get to hear the history of the Saturday Night Soundtrack as much as there is because it's only been going for like a year.
What was that dog one?
But
you remember the dog one? Oh, God.
Maybe what I should do...
Dog's anal glands, that's what it was.
Yes, that was a priceless night.
That was hilarious.
Do I want to listen to that one?
Yeah, you do.
Yes, you do.
You do. As a matter of fact, I'll find out which one that is and tell you to listen to it first. I got to put together, and I don't have really time for it right now, but at some point, maybe during the break, I got to put together a best of all our clips, because now I feel like we have enough shows that we can literally just kind of pull together a best of everything that we've we've done.
You did a great job in that best of, what was it, Jarrod complaining?
Yes,
you
absolutely.
did a fantastic job.
Thank
so
you.
I could see you doing it.
That was a proud moment in my radio career.
I hope
here.
that's posted there somewhere.
Oh, it's posted up there. Believe me, it's posted in the actual episode that we played it in, and it's posted by itself. I believe it's called "The Sounds of Jarrod." So if you look up our YouTube channel, which you're going to do this week because it's your homework. And you find The Sounds of Jarrod, you can listen to that one, and then you can listen to some of the other shows.
Yes.
All right.
Fun.
Our conversation about Robert Downey Jr., that's out there somewhere. It's edited, but it's out there somewhere.
It probably had to be edited.
Heavily edited.
And I might, if I might pat myself on the back a little bit, it's edited pretty damn good too.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's you could tell something's dropped out, but you can't hear it cut.
Nope.
And then you just hear us just freaking out. It's fantastic. It's great. So for all that fun, you too should check out the YouTube channel. We were mentioning the Queen earlier, and sort of dumping all over her. So let's also mention the fact that the Pope is in the United States, and everyone's going ape crap over this.
Is he? No, he's got another day, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wasn't he? He was in Madison Square Gardens today, but
for some reason, I don't think I thought going into this week, I don't think I thought this was as big a deal as it was. Apparently, I underestimated this a lot. Did you hear about the fact that somebody stole his water when he went to talk to Congress?
No.
Yeah, someone stole his glass of water.
They thought it was holy water?
Maybe. I don't know if it was inadvertent or what it was, but he had a glass of water and then had to ask for another one because it wasn't there anymore because someone took his water. Awesome.
I must have said, for an Argentinian, he speaks English quite well.
He does.
Yes.
And I feel like something like that.
I want to know what his thoughts on the Falklands are. We'll see the true measure of the man then.
Yeah. Oh, did you see the picture of? And I might tweet this out too because this was hilarious. Did you see the picture of John Boehner, who, by the way, recently just resigned this past week from Congress? So he just recently made his resignation announcement, and the other day,
wonderful day,
the other day when the Pope went to speak to Congress, John Boehner was standing behind him and just started tearing up and crying and stuff. There's one picture of him making the most hilarious face in the world, just as he's standing behind the Pope. It's just but it's like he's almost about to go into an ugly cry, but it really wasn't. But he still was kind of tearing up a little bit. But someone caught the picture at the perfect moment where he was just squinching. Nobody can see what I'm doing.
Kicked him somewhere.
Oh, it was hilarious. That's exactly what it looked like. I'm going to go out and find it, and I'll tweet it out because it's hysterical beyond words.
Sort of his thing, right? He's done it before. Tearing up on live television.
Yeah,
probably. I don't know. Some fresh blood is not going to be a bad thing.
No, not at all.
That's pretty much all. That's pretty much all I know, and all I care to know.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to force my wife to register right now because she hasn't registered yet, and I can't vote. So she's my voting prowess.
Well, when do we, collective, as a group, as a country, have to start voting in primaries and all that?
Oh God, don't ask me. I can't vote.
The election. Obviously the elections aren't until a year from now. A little bit over. A year and a couple of months. But obviously the primary. That stuff always seems to start way earlier.
Yeah.
So I feel like even within the next, 3 or 4 months, probably we're gonna have to end up voting on something.
Oh yeah.
I just don't know what it is. I'm not registered as anything. I'm an independent because. And I don't know if the rules have changed, but it used to be that you couldn't, if you were registered.
By the way, I just tweeted something on Facebook that we don't talk about politics on the show, and then of course, what do we do?
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Well, this is just general election stuff.
Yes,
so it's not really endorsing except for the
opinions.
fact that you vigorously clapped over John Boehner resigning.
I think everybody did.
You kind of opened the political door there.
Yeah.
It wasn't me, sir. I did not begin this. I wanted to talk about the man making a funny face, and you opened the political door. But if you register, and I don't know if this has changed or maybe I misunderstood it to begin with, but if you register as a Democrat or a Republican, there are certain primaries that you can't vote in. So if you want to, if there's a candidate in the Democratic or the Republican Party that you really want to see go on to the main election or even like I don't know if this is like the Sweet 16 in college basketball, but like, do they go from the primary to like a not so primary to finally the main election? I can't remember, but because I'm a terrible citizen. But the point being that I wanted to be able to sort of like give those people the nudge at the beginning if I really wanted to vote them in. And I didn't want to be sort of hamstringed by the fact that, oh, I'm registered as this or I'm registered as that. Also the fact that I don't really give a crap. I pretty much just, I look for BS, and whoever's spouting the most of it, I'll vote the other way.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
That's probably the way
I'm not aligning myself with any party, and I don't intend to at any point in the future. So, 508-531-1303. Now that we get all serious on you, we're going to play some more classic rock.
Good.
All right. Get into a new block coming up. Police and a twofer of the Beatles. All next. BIM SNS.
That is in a small town, and that's good enough for you. You're one of the only listeners who can hear us on an actual radio. Congratulations! Bridgewater's Saturday Night Soundtrack with Robb Hicks on 91.5 WBIM.
10 years after, 91.5 WBIM Bridgewater. SNS radio show, heard Stone Temple Pilots in that block as well. Got a twofer from the Beatles, and John Lennon included, of course, and kicked it all off with the Police. Robb Hicks, Steve Rimmer, and Brendan Smith, 635.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
The pause wasn't long enough.
You know,
I'm disappointed.
You're not going to get the pregnant pause every freaking time, Brendan. You're going to have to learn that I'm just going to spring it on you every once in a while.
All right.
You know, I'm going to be like Steve Rimmer and Brendan. And it doesn't mean that I forgot your name, but it might. You don't know. Am I being dramatic just because I'm building you up, or did I just forget?
Give a pause between my first and last name. Brendan.
Smith. That also could be me forgetting.
Yes.
But it could be me paying you tribute, too. You just don't know. That's
Never
the
know.
great part. If I pause before Steve's name, it's because I'm stopping myself from saying Jarrod.
Yeah, thank you.
That's basically what it is.
I appreciate that.
Because there's an order of introduction here, and I usually go with Jarrod first, and, well, when he's not here, it just throws me all the hell off.
So what do you think he's discussing tonight?
I don't know what that guy thinks he's doing. You know, I was thinking about this earlier, and I wish, I don't know, I wish there was some way we could prank call him. You know what I mean?
I don't even think he replies to text.
No, he wouldn't, but it would be fun to try.
Yeah.
Or, you know, just call and leave a message as lodge or something. I think that would be awesome. I'm going to have to look into that.
I don't think he'd appreciate it.
I don't even know. He probably wouldn't, but I would appreciate it. I would find it pretty funny. I don't know if I don't even know if the phones here can dial out. So there you go.
Yeah.
Not quite sure how that works. What I do know, however, is that you can dial us in for requests, 508-531-1303. We are doing classic rock until 11 o'clock, so pretty sure we get some time. Get some stuff in for you. Steve already contributed a deep cut last hour, and we've got a deep cut from Steve coming up within the next block as well.
Nice.
Because Steve was basically like, hey, you want to pick it up a little bit? A lot of the stuff you're playing is really mellow tonight, which is cool, but can you pump up the juice?
Yes.
Just a little bit. Here, play this song, please. For the love of God, please. And then, what did I just play? I just played 10 years after.
Yeah.
With I'd Love to Change the World, and it's very mellow.
Now, was that Albert Lee?
That was Albert Lee?
Yeah.
Correct. Alvin Lee?
Alvin Lee.
Yes.
Yes.
Ta-da! I remember my favorite performance by Alvin Lee was when he did I'm Going Home at Woodstock.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great. 10 minutes of greatness right there. Brendan, are you a Woodstock enthusiast? That's a tongue twister.
I would say, yeah. I recently watched the documentary made about it the year after it happened.
Right.
And fell in love with that movie. So, yeah, it's kind of fresh.
It's a long movie.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
I would have to say that I probably saw it around when I was about Brendan's age. Maybe I was even a year or two older. You may have even gotten a head start on me.
I actually saw that in the theater.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. It's not a headphones kind of experience. I had the speakers as loud as they could go.
So you would be like, I'm going to make a movie reference that this guy's not going to get. So you would be like Charlton Heston in The Omega Man. You're the last person on Earth. What do you spend your time doing? You go to the theater to watch Woodstock, because Woodstock's actually still in the theater after everybody in the world has died off. It was like one of the last movies that got released. That was the whole point of the movie. Everyone's just staring at me blankly, like I don't know what the hell.
You haven't got your movie buff buddy to talk
going.
back and forth with this week.
Apparently not. I thought maybe one of you would know what
are
I
you
was
going
talking
to the Back to the Future marathon?
I was going to talk about this later, but I'm going to talk about it now.
Okay.
Yes.
You are.
So here's a nerd moment for you right here.
Nerd attack.
Yeah. So on October 21st in Braintree, thank you. I almost said Randolph. In Braintree on October 31st, they're doing a Back to the Future trilogy screening. So what that means is that obviously they're playing 1, 2, and 3, and they're going to play them back to back. The cool thing about this is they're starting and I looked at this at first, and I was like, that's kind of random. And they're starting the trilogy. The first movie screens at 4:29. That's the time for the movie, and the
oddly specific.
It is oddly specific. And then I was looking around some stuff online because I'm a nerd, and came across something and refreshed my memory about the second movie. Is that when they go to the future at the beginning of the second movie, Doc Brown says, we're descending towards Hill Valley, California at 4:29 p.m. on October 21st, 2015.
Oh.
You're probably one of 3 people to get that and understand that.
Well, I knew why they were doing it on the 21st. I mean, that was obvious to me.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't obvious to everyone else. It was obvious to me. I knew exactly what they were doing. When I saw that, I was like, cool. I want to be in on that. And then I saw that they were doing I saw the time, and I was like, that's odd. And then I went and investigated that part and then found that out. And I was like, that makes it even cooler.
Very
that
classy.
makes it even cooler. If you want some more nerdness? I can drop some more nerdness on you. Ready?
You may.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, and at first, I saw that, and then I was like, nah, I don't know if and do I really want to do this? Because that's kind of, that's sort of extreme. And then I was like, oh, there's no,
Not for you, sir.
How many... True. How many other opportunities is there going to be for me to be able to? And then I was like, meh. So then I looked and I was like, the first thing I noticed was that they were selling the tickets. They're selling the tickets for the 3 individual movies. They're not selling it as a one film experience. It's 3 different movies you have to buy tickets for. So then, even more, meh. Because then I was like, well, I'm going to be paying this thing's $4.29, $7.9. I'm going to be paying between $12 and $20 like for a ticket for each film. And I was like, that's a little extreme. Maybe I'll sit this one out. And then I went back to my Fandango app and just looked at it a little bit more. Like you look at something you can't afford, but you just want to look at it.
Like the new Bowie release, yes.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Yes, yeah. Basically anything for me at this point. So I look at it and it says adult $6. So each movie is $6.
Very nice.
So 2 movies together is about the price I would have expected to pay for one. Because when I went to see Jaws for the 40th anniversary, I paid $12 for that. So I was like, it's probably going to be at least 12.
And that wasn't in a pool in an inner tube.
It was not in a pool in an inner tube. It was just in the Kingston movie theater.
Could they have done something like that in the Kingston movie theater?
Probably. And what else is going on there? Nothing.
That's a lot of viewing. That's 6 hours though.
5 hours and 42 minutes of viewing pleasure, not counting obviously the time. It looks like they're leaving about a half hour in between. For you to do whatever.
Bathroom duties.
Bathroom break, get up, walk around, get some more popcorn, whatever the case is. So then I saw that it was $6, and I was like, $6, eh? Okay, so maybe I'll do this. And then the next thing I noticed, and I had to text our friend Jarrod about this because I didn't realize that this was the case. Apparently, the Braintree cinemas require you to do reserved seating.
Oh.
Which is cool in a way because you know exactly where you're going to be sitting. But also, then I was like, well, I don't know really how this, because I've never gone to a theater that had reserved seating. I've always bought the tickets, and then you go. Even the Jordan's IMAX theaters that I've gone to, I mean, those things are always sold out and packed. But the seating is never reserved. It's just you buy your ticket online so you can get it ahead of time. Yeah. You stand in line with all the other jabronis and just wait. So the reserved seating, I was like, I'll investigate this, and they give you a chart.
My daughter and her boyfriend do this all the time.
Okay, they do. So this was all new to me. I didn't realize that this was the case. So they give me a chart. So what's the first thing you realize that I do, right?
Oh, God.
So I'm looking at the chart, and I'm counting the rows, and then I'm counting the seats across, and I'm figuring out what is dead center in the middle of that freaking theater. And apparently it was seat E9, and I reserved that for all 3 of them.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
If anyone's in seat E9 when you show up, I feel very bad for them.
I feel bad for them too. Because apparently here, this is no joke. I guess it's going to be right on the seat, right on the ticket. And apparently everyone who goes to Braintree knows or is supposed to know about this rule.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming everyone's going to follow suit and everything will be fine. I also assume the other reason that E9 is good is because they're in like 2-seat blocks. So it's like there's 2 seats and it looks like there's a little bit of a space and there's another 2 seats. So I'm assuming that anybody who's going to go, probably, even if they're going to try to gank a seat, they probably don't want to gank one right next to someone they don't know, like myself. And the other thing is, I don't know if, I extended the offer. I asked Jarrod if he wanted to come. He doesn't know if he can get off work because he's in the middle of he's just started this job. He's got 90 days and blah, blah, blah. But I told him, if you want to, I'm definitely going to go, and here's the seat I'm getting. So that if he wants to go on and do it and reserve his seat, then he can reserve E10, and then it'll be 6 hours of Jarrod and Back to the Future.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, I mean, it's 6 hours of Jarrod and classic rock every week,
Yeah, but you're not sitting in the same room with him. I am.
That's true. It's very true.
That's a good point.
To go along with this, and speaking of work, and this is basically me just being. So I was like, well, I'm gonna have to take the 21st off. So I put in for that, and then I was looking at the calendar, and I was like, do I want to go into work the next morning after going? Nope, take the 22nd off, and then I realized that the 23rd was Friday.
No, take the 23rd off.
So I just sent an email to my. I've got he's basically been hounding me to take days anyway, because I've got 12. I still have 12 to schedule, and it's almost October. So they're getting a little nervous about this stuff. So me taking any days at this point is great. Yeah. So he didn't really care. So done deal. And nerd moment and nerd night. And I will tell you guys all about it
on that Saturday.
On the 24th.
Nice.
Or however much time we have on the 24th, because the Alumni Takeover Reunion is the 24th. So the plan for that, real quick, and then we'll get into more classic rock. The plan for the 24th, again, the Alumni Takeover Reunion is going on the 24th, and that means that everybody comes in. It's a great time because they extend hours and shifts and opportunities to alumni to come in and be able to do their own shows. And the shows are 1-hour blocks, so it's dwarfed compared to what we do here. But it's basically a chance to just come in and do all that stuff. And then they do it on the Friday and the Saturday, and then it wraps up on the Saturday night. So I don't know how John Coombs, who does the show before us, Pilot of the Airwaves, he's doing the whole schedule for it, and then he's going to put out a final schedule once everything's all said and done. Depending on what that final schedule says, depending on how many people wanted shifts, because it could go as late as whoever wants shifts. Most people don't usually want to go as late, so it usually wraps up around 7 or 8 o'clock. So the Saturday night soundtrack on that night would probably start at 8, could start at 9. So you may get a couple of hours of us, 2, 3, but it's better than none. Yeah. So we're going to plan to come in here for just whenever the thing wraps up.
I think I'll be drinking that night.
Yeah, I told you and I should just go out and then just come in and be like, I'm doing a show. I got this show right now. I got this one right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of drunk.
And I got this empty seat right now.
Mikey D, your timing is impeccable because we're about to go into some more music. But
right after is my middle name.
Is it?
Well, go ahead. That must
have been awkward. But right after that, we'll play some more music. We'll come back and chat with you for a bit. How's that?
I forgot.
Yeah.
Brandon. Oh, Brendan, is it? Brendan. Intern. Oh, man, as soon as I come here, we get results.
I'm going to get that, and we're going to get
good luck.
Sounds good.
All right.
Bye.
Classic Rock 91.5 WBIM SNS.
The best reason to listen to WBIM on Saturday nights instead of your iPod. Size matters. The largest library of classic rock in Bridgewater is on this Saturday night soundtrack with Robb Hicks, Jarrod Barbetta, and Steve Rimmer. 91.5 WBIM.
That was Liquid Tension Experiment at 91.5 WBIM Bridgewater Saturday night soundtrack. That was a deep cut that was provided to us from Steve Rimmer, so thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
That song contained, that song basically just had some classic rock connective tissue associated with it. Not just the very sound of it, but the fact that Tony Levin, who was playing bass in that, had also played with King Crimson and played with Peter Gabriel, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Bowie.
And Bowie, probably a whole bunch. Apparently, there were other people that when the main guy was trying to get Mike Portnoy was the main guy trying to get the band together. Apparently he had tried to get Steve Morse, who had played with Kansas and Deep Purple, and couldn't quite get him. So he was reaching for the stars.
You know the strange thing
one.
about liquid tension experiment? You'd expect that they'd have a whole slew of different members, etc. But no, it was only the 4 of them.
It is, yeah. I was looking through that too, just to take a little look at the band history. That track came off their second album, which came out in '99. They only made 2 records as the liquid tension experiment.
Yeah, they
the
did
first
live
one,
ones though.
Yeah, the first studio one was '97. This one was '99, and then. And Steve's got one that I can't read.
That's the first studio album.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So it's 7:10. Robb Hicks, Steve Rimmer, Mikey D, Brendan Smith. How are you guys?
No pregnant pause.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of one. But better than before.
Yeah.
So how's everybody doing?
We're good.
Excellent.
Mike?
How's
Me,
Mikey
I'm
D
doing fine as usual.
Oh, good.
Okay, bring back Deep Purple, Steve Morse.
Yes.
Deep Purple's still together.
Yeah.
Oh, they are? Okay, because last time I knew, the last quite a few years, Steve Morse been playing lead guitar for them. So I don't know if they were still
I was going
touring.
to say they're still together, but that's one of those bands where the incarnation, as far as what's out there and who's touring right now, is always kind of hazy to me.
Because they were going to be touring soon, weren't they?
They were. I thought they either were still going to be touring at some point in the future now, or they did just recently.
I think Morse was involved in, was it Gillan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it was. So yeah, they're around. They're still kicking around somewhere.
They haven't, he's been lead guitar with them for a number of years now instead of Richie Blackmore. Then, of course, I don't know who's playing keyboards now because didn't John Lord pass away some time ago?
A while.
Yeah.
So,
dead.
So a lot of these...
He's dead.
Yeah, they got the shovels
And
right.
I met Gillan once, and he's not the most pleasant of guys.
Did you punch him in the face?
I almost did. A little bit full of himself.
Oh, okay.
You know who else is apparently full of himself that I know a couple of people who have met was...
Mikey D?
Yeah,
Well.
him. And why am I blanking on his last name? Ian Jethro Tull.
Oh, Ian Anderson. Oh,
Ian
very
Anderson.
much. Very much.
My God.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
My friend worked at and Brendan, we were actually discussing this off the air a little bit, but my friend worked at ZLX at a time that Ian Anderson was going over there to do some live stuff and do a couple of interviews and stuff, and he was like, "Holy moly, what a d-bag!"
So he's the type you ask for him on his autograph, and he probably look down at you or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think any autographs were asked for or issued. I think he pretty much made it clear that he was there to do a job and was pretty much going to do it and then get the hell out.
Go back to Scotland.
Thanks for putting back. I mean, billions and billions of dollars since the 60s up till now. Us guys, us fans throughout decades now, buying his albums, making him money.
Exactly.
Going to his concerts.
Oh, yeah. And my knee-jerk reaction is always then to play down whatever their contribution to music is. So I'm going to kick in right now and be like, Jethro Tull wasn't even all that great.
Oh,
couple of songs that
I liked him, I must admit.
Couple of songs that I like. Everything
I'm
else I
going to
can
throw
take
one
or
song
leave.
out there that I like. I mean, they've had some great songs out there throughout the years. But one song you never hear on the radio unless I request it. Tull, I think it's off of Aqualung. Wind Up.
You don't hear that one very often.
you don't.
Yeah, I
You do
believe it
not.
is on that album too.
Yeah.
I like. I also like Hymn 49 or Hymn 51 or whatever the name of that one is.
Yeah.
What's that album? It's just two long songs. That's the entire album.
Basically, yeah.
Thick as a brick, it's called,
Then
right?
some stuff in the middle. So Mikey D did not bring up an album this week because he was busy doing Mikey D things. So I'm going to fill in for you, and we're going to pay tribute to a guy who we actually lost 35 years ago yesterday. I don't know if that rings a bell for anyone, but John Bonzo Bonham.
We just discussed him moments ago.
just talking about him, yeah.
Something we heard you
drum solo.
got tuned up for next. Yeah.
And that's why. Because
We heard
he passed away September 25th, 1980.
God,
and,
that long ago.
Yeah.
When did Mooney die? It had to be close.
I think he was before, yeah? I
Yeah.
think he was like 70. I feel like he was 78, 79. It was really close.
Yeah, very close.
But it was a couple of years before.
Those guys back in their, both drummers back in their day.
Oh,
were just
absolutely.
So, wow.
Absolutely. So here's what we're going to do. So I got Moby Dick on deck from the second Zeppelin album.
Sounds good.
That was almost a tongue twister.
Amazing, right?
Moby Dick on deck.
Hey, I'm good at it. You know what I mean? This time, check in with me 2 hours from now.
Yeah.
See how good I do
After
at that
the
point.
beers have taken hold.
Exactly. I mean the iced tea. So Moby Dick on deck. I did it again. It's got that great drum solo in the middle there. So we're gonna play that to showcase him. And what I want you to do, Mike, is I want you to think about when you come back up here around 9 o'clock or whenever you usually come back. Think of another song that really to you exemplifies Bonham's drumming, and we'll play that.
Wow.
Give it some thought.
Because John Bonham, of course, Moby Dick.
Yep.
Then it's always Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page.
Correct.
And Plant.
Correct. So try to think of a Zeppelin song where the whatever the driving, the drums driving force just knocks you out. Think of your second favorite drumming song after Moby Dick, and then we'll hit that up when you come back.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
All righty.
All right. We're off and running. Moby Dick.
We're off and running. Moby Dick, Led Zeppelin. A little bit too much caffeine for Mikey D. Saturday Night Soundtrack, BIM.
Those major market stations have high-profile sponsors. Hosts with 30 years of experience and over 20,000 watts of power. Well, we have a British guy. Check and mates. Steve Rimmer is on the Saturday Night Soundtrack on BIM.
It's Jimi Hendrix, 91.5 WBIM Bridgewater. SNS radio show. Before that, in the block, we heard Bob Seger and Joe Walsh with Ordinary Average Guy, which I must say I really only wanted to play because it contains the lyrics, pick up the dog do, hope that it's hard. That makes a song, as far as I'm concerned. So, 7:34, Rob Hicks, Steve Rimmer.
And you know about Dog
Mikey D. I know far too much about Dog Do.
Yes.
I know a lot more than I wish to know.
Wow, wow, woof, woof, arf.
Yes.
Okay.
As I know way too much about hairballs right now. Thank you very much. And I said,
like cat hair.
I said hairballs.
Yes, that's okay. I had to... It took me a second to process.
Yeah.
I was like, why is Steve... Jarrod's not here. Why is this happening? What's going on? Oh, wait, Steve's the main contributor, too.
Yeah.
So how's everybody doing? How you guys doing?
We're doing all kinds of conversation back here and stuff.
Yep. Well, good.
We're mentioning, I'll make it quick, mention the drummers like Bonham and Keith Moon earlier.
Yep.
Back in the day, watch them play, innovators.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Big time.
Absolutely. You don't see... I feel like you don't see them anymore.
No, you don't. You know,
they... I can't... I think about it, and I feel like I'm hard-pressed. I can't even think of a drummer that's out there right now that does what those guys used to do. You know who I always found was a really underrated drummer as well, but I also happen to think that their band's guitarist is a really underrated guitarist, is Mick Fleetwood.
Oh, yeah.
That guy will play the hell out of a drum, and he'll do it for the entire concert. Hat flying off, face all full of glee and everything, and he's just loving it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's been out there doing that they've been doing it for 40 years now, and he's still all over it.
Doesn't he use the sticks the other way around?
Yes, he did.
Yep.
And I don't know. I've always really appreciated his drumming, and I think it's because a lot of people seem not to. I think they tend to pay more attention to the Nix Buckingham combination. I think they tend to forget about him.
Then Lindsey Buckingham. Who,
he plays without a pick.
Yeah, without a pick, and I think he's the one. Maybe there's others out there. I can't remember if it's him, but I think, other than not using a pick, doesn't read music or something like that.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I think he's one of the ones who doesn't. I actually heard recently. I didn't even know this, and I feel ashamed that I didn't know this. That Paul McCartney didn't read music. He can't read it. Can't read a note.
Holy crap!
Yeah, he just he does what he does.
Well, just moments ago we saw a YouTube thing on Brendan's phone, right?
Learned that
Hendrix is on there. Dick Cavett asked him about reading music. He goes, no, I can't read. He goes, I don't read music.
Yeah.
Or read notes or something like that.
Yeah.
So talking about, one of the most creative, I'll call him, he's from far out of space,
Sure.
Hendrix is.
Yeah, they hear the music in their head, they see what they have to play on the instrument, and they just translate.
And he said something about,
translate from head right to instrument with nothing in between.
And he said something about, no, I just create.
Yeah.
He's one of the best creators as far as guitars ever.
Do you realize how difficult it must be to play with someone like that? Like if you're, like Steve, you and I were talking about, we mentioned someone who we said was sort of one step above, not one step above, but spread himself as thin as a session musician. Mm-hmm. Think about session musicians and how session musicians must have reacted to someone like Hendrix.
Well,
how do you do that? You know what I mean? I understand that he had the Jimi Hendrix experience, but I'm sure they had to have session players come in from time to time, and they got to keep up with all that.
Brendan just mentioned, we're mentioning Hendrix, but we also mentioned he threw out the two names, Noel Redding and Mitch Mitchell. It's like, what's this guy going to do on stage next? Do we just keep an eye on him, or just close our eyes and listen and just hope for the best?
How do you keep up with that? Yeah.
How about a combination of the two?
Yeah, definitely incredible.
Kind of what it comes down to.
One of the guys I used to play with, a drummer, and his drum teacher over in London was a session drummer. And people like Barry Manilow, whenever they would tour England, this is the guy they'd go to play. And he went to watch him play one night, and he's reading drum sheet music with a beer at the side of him, and he's playing along and grabbing his beer and just playing the whole concert, and it was the first time we'd played any of that music. So
that's great.
That's a great thing.
You should get
have you ever seen sheet music for drums?
No.
Oh my, it's like chicken scrap.
I'm sure it is.
It's bizarre stuff.
He must have, not that he needed it, because it sounded like he did fine, but he could have used one of those backpacks with like the tube that comes out, and you just just put the beer in that and just suck it out of or one of the hats. Yeah, he could have worn one of the hats with little straws.
I don't think Barry Manilow would have liked it.
Now, speaking of drummer, how about Def Leppard's drummer, who has many years ago...
Where's Jarrod?
Right?
Come on.
Right?
No, I'm saying,
who has an arm amputated many years ago due from an accident, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Been touring since then, banging away. I guess he's, maybe they got a special...
Could you bring this up again next week, please, when Jarrod's here?
Steve, I'll just I'll play this. I'll play the whole damn thing. I'll just play the clip.
We are being recorded, right?
Always.
That's what I like to hear. Something about King Herod, the empty seater. He's not a big fan.
No.
Well, I'm just mentioning, we're talking drummers, innovation, but now you got this guy, I don't know his name, of Def Leppard.
Rick Allen.
Rick what?
Rick Allen.
Rick Allen.
Yeah.
Amputee, banging the drums ever since, still with one arm, right?
Yeah, no,
okay.
I'm on board with you 100%. The irony of this conversation taking place when Jarrod's not here is a little bit overwhelming.
Yes.
Because we've had so many talks about him. Jarrod has talked so much trash about Rick Allen.
Well, guess what?
Famously.
Any more of his lip, he's going to be turned into a drum kit next time he shows up here.
Oh, man.
Hey, and you can take that to the bank.
I'll just replay it in the CD player next week. How about we do that?
That's a good thing about recordings.
Steve,
right,
I've already got a bit for next week.
There
awesome. I love when the show writes itself.
Yeah.
508-531-1303. Call us up for requests. And speaking of making phone calls and so forth, not to be pushy, but how are we doing?
Well, we should. Right after this.
Okay.
Yep.
Can you coordinate with...
Yes.
I don't know what you guys normally do. I'm out of the loop on the whole thing, and I'm usually in here running the show and doing stuff. Are you guys going to get... We can talk about this off the air, but I'll talk about it on because I just mentioned
it. It depends on where you want to go. Do you want to do campus? Or?
I thought we'd do campus.
Okay, let's do campus then.
What's up with Joel? Did he call, that from that place around the corner?
Yeah, he doesn't call until about 10 of 11.
How about you tell me what's up with Joel?
I haven't seen him recently. Yeah, true. I haven't seen him for the last maybe...
He doesn't call...
week and a half, 2 weeks.
He doesn't call until you're here sitting in the studio, or he calls at like 10:53 and wants to hear an 8-minute long Blue Oyster Cult song. And he doesn't understand the pressure we're under to get the hell out of the studio.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
So, Joel, if you're out there listening, you cement head... don't call with 30 seconds left in the program, Come on, you're better than that.
Joe, P.S.
Other than him, now, of course, since Nate isn't working Saturdays at that place around the corner at the lights, whatever it is.
He really has no excuse.
So he's a Friday nighter, so he can't listen to us. Unless he's close by on Saturday nights when he's not working.
Which is actually not true. He just needs to get the live stream app, and then he can listen to us whenever he wants.
All right.
And he should listen to us and
what
call us.
What did he do wrong to get kicked off the Saturday gig?
Oh, I don't know. But he's still, I guess he's still employed there, but his...
Mikey D doesn't have that level of insider information.
So we got to give a shout out to the new Saturday nighter there. Nick.
Yes.
Everybody say hi to Nick. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Another Nick.
All right, so
Nick?
You're listening. And I got to take off a while. What's up with Black Greg?
Greg Black.
You might want to switch that around, sir.
Well, whatever. I don't.
You might want to switch that around.
We haven't heard it for what? Last semester?
That's how he's alphabetized in files, but not how his name is said. No, he called last week, as a matter of fact.
Oh, he did? What did he say?
He's working at a liquor store, and
where?
Usually too drunk to call.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know because I had a limited amount of time to talk to him when he called last week, but he called within the 10 o'clock hour. So apparently, because of the hours that he's working, he can't call as early as he normally does. But he told us he was out there listening, and then he called.
So he's within range.
Yeah. He is, yes.
Okay, I got to take off for a moment. If he ever does call back again while I'm gone, jot down some info. Tell him Mikey D wants to know where you are so I can come visit you. And
that doesn't sound intimidating at all.
Hey, and beat some BIM into him.
Okay. Okay. We'll do that.
All right, you cats. I'm out of here for a while. I got stuff I got to do, and I shall return.
All right. Bring your Led Zeppelin selection for Bonham when you come back. Know what that means?
It's been made.
What's going on? Oh, good. Okay. So
All right. I shall return.
So put me down for in what you're doing right there. Might as well just take care of this right here. Are you guys getting pizza or are you getting sandwiches or something?
Well, if we're doing campus, it has to be the subs, I think.
Oh, true. Yeah. So I'm going to do the steak and cheese.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that with extra American cheese.
Very
and,
good.
Some raw onions in there, too.
If we could just do it over the air, we don't need to call them then.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, can't they just call us up and be like, we've got your order, thank you.
Yes.
We'll be there in a half hour.
This is the first time I've looked at the menu, actually. It's
Oh, really?
quite extensive, yeah.
Yeah. Well, peruse. If there's anything you think that is going to be better, that...
But they only deliver till 9 o'clock. What time is it now?
oh, crap. 7:43. We might want to jump on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Let's get into some more classic rock, and we'll take care of our food needs off the air. Because I'm sure, as enraptured as I'm sure everyone is about what we're getting for dinner, I think they care more about some music and potentially even more about some Motley Crue, which is what we got on deck.
Lovely.
So here we go. Saturday Night Soundtrack, BIM.
CTC to CC Top. We've got the biggest collection of classic rock in Bridgewater. You're listening to the Saturday Night Soundtrack with Robb Hicks on 91.5 WBIM.
KISS 91.5 WBIM Bridgewater. Saturday Night Soundtrack. Robb Hicks here with you. Give us a call, 508-531-1303. We're looking for any requests you want. We're on for another 3 hours. Most of the shows here at the station run for 2, and we run for 6. So there you go. Brendan Smith is across from me, and
Steve has left. It's just the two of us.
It's totally fine. Well, so now we can talk about him while we're. So far, you are. What are you? 9 hours into your. You basically stayed the whole time last week, right?
More or less.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you're 3 hours into this experience. You thought you were signing up for only a 2-hour show.
No, I know I'm signing up for a 2-hour show, but I just like to stay a little extra.
Well, that's good. I know. I hope you don't feel like you have to stay extra, but we are very happy to have you for extra.
If you're happy to have me, I'm happy to be here.
So that works. The more the merrier is what I say.
We are down a member too, so trying to fill in.
That is true. That is true. How's your experience thus far?
It's been awesome. Been learning a lot, especially on the musical side. Just talking to these guys, their knowledge of music is just so vast. I'm trying to pick it and soak it all up.
I see you sitting there with them a lot of times, and like basically the eyes you're very very wide and like saucer eyes, and like if you let on to Mikey D that you're impressed by his prowess and knowledge of music, that might not be good for you because he's going to talk to you all day.
He'll talk my ear off, yeah, but I'm okay with that.
God. So hey, something happened this week that I thought must have happened within the past at least 10 years or so. Yogi Berra died.
Oh,
and,
that's true.
I thought he was already dead.
Oh.
No, actually, I knew he was alive.
I didn't. For some reason, it was one of those things where, every once in a while you read about something and you're like, oh, so-and-so died. Wait, didn't? Well, obviously not. Apparently not. And he's 90.
Yeah.
90.
Yep.
Did you read the top 10 Yogi Berra-isms?
I didn't.
Oh, they were comical.
Is that easily Google?
It should be easily Googleable.
Yes. Is that a word?
He's the one who started the famous quote, "It's not over till it's over," right?
Correct.
That was
many
number
more
one.
like it, yeah.
Yeah, that was number one on the list.
The top 10.
He had a funny one. It's like baseball is 90% mental and the other half is...
Yeah.
Well, you remember that?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, here we go. So if you go to brainyquote.com, apparently there's a top 10 there. I don't know if this is exactly the one you were looking at, but how many top 10s could there be?
I got a top 50 here.
Oh, do you really? How come it's not? Oh, here we go. So this one says, if you don't know where you're going, you might wind up someplace else. That's handy to know.
That's very handy to know.
You better cut the pizza in 4 pieces because I'm not hungry enough to eat 6. I like that one. Love is the most important thing in the world, but baseball is pretty good too. In theory, there's no difference between theory and practice. In practice, there is. I got to think about that one for a good long time. This is the one you were just mentioning. Baseball is 90% mental and the other half is physical. It ain't over till it's over, obviously. I like this one. This is great. This is a great, all-encompassing thing for anyone who's ever said something they didn't want to say. I never said most of the things I said. You've got to be very careful if you don't know where you're going because you might not get there.
When you come to a fork in the road, take it.
That's the very next one that just came up. A nickel ain't worth a dime anymore. Now I'm back to the beginning. So yeah.
Oh, what's this one? Little League Baseball is a very good thing because it keeps the parents off the streets.
And that's actually a pretty good.
Pretty true.
So it's sort of like he said a mix of things that some of them were like, they were sort of like puns, and they were like what you just said. They were puns, but they were also like kind of commentary, and they were funny. And then some of the things he said just made no sense. So it was like a mix between not really realizing what he was saying, or perhaps saying something that was pretty wise. So, but
like this one, you can observe a lot by just watching.
that's true. So rest in peace, Yogi Berra, who gave us a ton of quotes, and I apologize for thinking that he was already dead, but
he is dead now, so yes, that's fine.
Doesn't matter. I feel like there's like a Yogi Berra quote coming up involving all this.
Yeah.
Well, he's dead now, even though I thought he was dead before, so rest in peace anyway, and it doesn't matter what I thought before.
The future ain't what it used to be.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. That's kind of like the, I think that was like the tagline for that Tomorrowland movie or something like that, or something close to that. I feel like they borrowed something as far as that was concerned. So anyway, 508-531-1303, call us up. Let us know what you want to hear. Throw a Yogi Berra-ism at us if you so choose.
Always go to other people's funerals, otherwise they won't come to yours. Yeah, maybe because they're dead.
Oh, and I had to think about that for a second, too. It's sad. Listen to us on Livestream, livestream.com. You can check that out, and you can also get the free app at the iTunes and Google Play stores. You can like us on Facebook, Saturday Night Soundtrack, and you can follow us on Twitter at SN Soundtrack. Easy, so do it. They give you a period of time.
35.
Oh, that's not too bad. I was a little concerned by the fact that you had to spell things.
I was too. I wasn't expecting that. That
worried me a tad.
Yeah.
Because once again, it's sort of like the listener base. I feel like we might be starting from scratch here in some ways. So,
but the driver knew where we were.
The driver knows. He's in the know.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Good enough. But he's not the guy that Jarrod pissed off the last time.
Oh, my God. I wouldn't even know because I didn't see him. So I wouldn't even know who he is.
I didn't see him either because it was out there in the corridor.
I bet he's grateful it's not Jarrod tipping him.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, who's that jackass the last time who asked me what I thought was fair?
Starts with the same letter.
Just remember that we have pens as well. So if anybody wants pens, we're not going to deliver
pens.
We're not going to deliver. Steve is giving you the sound effect of the pen.
Yeah, it's how good it sounds.
You too can do that and irritate the hell out of people if you want.
And they bounce too.
Yes, they do. They do. And let's not also forget that they have a stylus at the end, so that you can use that on all of your devices.
It doesn't come across on the radio too well.
No, it doesn't. It actually kind of does, but nobody. Wait, hold on. Let me pump you up. Ready? Sounds like stop. I don't know what it sounds like, but it might.
It might be implied as something different.
Steve was just like touching his tip. He was just touching the tip of his pen to show you what the.
And I'm the one that drops them all the time. Oh yes, Rob.
He wanted you all to see what his tip sounded like. So that was it. The tip of Steve's pen. But there was no profanity in that. You know what I mean? Double entendres galore. Fine. But, there were no bombs dropped, so everything was fine. So call us up, let us know what you want to hear, and hopefully we'll have our food. So I got at least one long song set up for when our food comes, so I can just sit and eat.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
That'd be fantastic. And 3 hours to go. Well, 2 hours and I can't do the math.
Yeah, it's
49 minutes.
Like that.
Something. So let's get into another big block of classic rock coming up. Going to kick it off with an anthem for this time of the week.
The Saturday Night Soundtrack with Rob Hicks is on 91.5 WBIM. Bridgewater's weekend all-request classic rock experience.
It's Frank Zappa, 91.5 WBIM Bridgewater. SNS radio show, Rob Hicks, Steve Rimmer, Brendan Smith. We'll get right back. Trust me, we've got I've got a 9-minute song here, so that I can start eating my food as well. Creedence Clearwater Revival's coming up, but I want to jump on and say thank you to Campus Pizza for bringing our food up here again.
Timely manner, too.
Yep, we got the subs from them again. That seemed like it was quicker than they said it was going to be, because I thought it was 35, like, I don't know, 20 minutes ago. So that was pretty good.
Right up to the room, too.
How was the transaction experience?
It could not have gone better.
Was that good? Okay, good.
So,
10 out of 10.
Wasn't the guy that Jarrod upset, or?
I was going to say that the thing is, unfortunately, because we didn't even see the guy, we have no way of knowing if he's the same one or not. But I'd like to just assume that he's not, and that we started a clean slate and everything's great. Or if he is and he just completely forgot, that's fine too.
Hopefully,
I'm totally okay with that. The question I haven't asked you yet, Brendan, and I'm trying to look now to see, but I can't tell. Do you have an iPhone?
I do, yes.
Okay. Which one do you have?
4. 4S.
Oh, you still got the 4?
He's got the 4.
Yeah.
Have you guys put your phones next to each other? And
No.
Yeah, okay.
I only do that with the wife. She has a 4 as well.
So,
And I just upgraded from a flip phone. Just a couple of months ago, so it's a huge change.
That's for you, sir. That's for you.
Thank you.
So I don't know how much you might not be as involved in this conversation as myself and Steve, but I was wondering if you had done the iOS update to 9.
You know what? I asked about that. Derek, my daughter's boyfriend, who worked for AT&T for the longest time, so I knew he's the guy to ask. He said, don't.
Really?
Yes, it keeps asking me, but I never have good experiences whenever I update. There's always
he said give it at least a couple of weeks.
Well,
plus, they got the App Store hacked into. What was it, last week?
They did, yeah.
So,
well, the funny thing about it is that I did it. All right.
Oh, you did?
I hate seeing the notification.
Oh, me
I was
too.
like, as soon as it popped up, I was like, meh. I let it go for a couple of days because I kept forgetting, and I didn't want to. I would always remember during the day, and then I was like, I don't want my phone to be out of commission for like 2 hours while this thing updates, because anytime you go from like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, those are always pretty, those will update in about 10 minutes or so, but the full operating system update from 8 to 9, is going to take longer. So I just waited, and then I did it overnight, and a couple of things I noticed, like nothing too terrible, but a couple of things I noticed is like the fonts are slightly different.
It's always really small. It's like the app icons are different or something. It's never any big changes.
The fonts are different, and what they'll do now is they'll tile. So if you bring up, you're not even going to be able to see this, but if you bring up like a bunch of windows, like how they used to be directly side by side. I don't know if you can see on my phone there, but see how they're tiled. So that's 3 different things that's open at the same time, but each one is behind the other.
Yes.
So you got to kind of like push certain things out of the way to get to other things, and that's a little.
So overall, what's your opinion?
I don't see that much of a difference. There isn't that much of a difference. One thing I do like is that in the iTunes, they actually have an option they have the shuffle that showed back up on artists. Like if you bring up an artist and you have you could still do it anyway, but a lot of times you'd have to like hit a little thing on the side that brought up like, do you want to play this artist next? And you had to have your settings on shuffle in order for it to actually shuffle. Now it just says, just like you would with a playlist, it brings stuff up and then it just says shuffle. So
that's usual.
That I find handy.
We got a phone call.
Hello.
It's Gregory Black.
Greg!
Oh my gosh, Greg.
What is up?
It's Black Greg. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys?
We're fantastic now.
Yes.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it.
You know what I'm saying? So tell, we got sandwiches in front of us that we're dying to eat, but tell us your life story, Greg. How you been?
I mean, it's all right. I work at a liquor store.
So you can get us discounts and stuff, right?
Or
You're
3.
gonna come and see me, though.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see. Well, what if we give you some pens? Then we get discounts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd take a pen or 2.
He's like, I don't know, man. What's going on? So last week, Greg, you called us and you informed us that you were not able to. You hadn't been able to call us earlier because of your different work, but it looks like now you've actually gotten a chance to call us.
Yes.
Is this an anomaly, or is this about the time that we can expect you from now on?
I actually got out pretty early tonight. I work 9 to 5 today.
So anomaly is basically what he's telling us.
Yes.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you guys? Yes. Do you guys have that? Do you have that? Not your father's root beer stuff? I've been looking everywhere for that, and I can't find it.
I do, but you got to come get it fast. It flies off the shelf.
Oh my God! Can you put one aside for me?
Yeah, I could probably hide 1 or 2.
Oh, nice. I don't even know where you work, by the way.
It's going to remain a secret.
Well, then how am I going to... There's a logistical problem presenting itself, Gregory. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I can't just give away the location of not my father's root beer.
Oh, my God. Okay, I get you. Tap it out in Morse code. Tap it out in Morse code or something when we're off the air, and we'll figure it out.
Sounds like a plan.
Hey, how come you haven't liked us on Facebook or followed us on Twitter yet?
I still don't have a Facebook.
Are you serious? All you people. What about, so you don't have a Twitter yet either, right?
No, sir.
Have you checked out our YouTube channel?
I think I actually did one time, but I didn't realize that you just record the whole show, so I would have to listen to, like, the whole video to try and find myself.
Yes, you technically would, but it's worth it, because we're fantastic.
I'll give it a try one night at least. That's
very non-committal. What do you want to hear, Greg? I feel like you're, you know what I mean? I feel like you're not fully committed to this process.
I would like to hear.
I haven't been able to bully you, like, since April or May. You got to give me a little leeway here.
What do you want from me?
I don't know. I want a request, and don't say Family Man by Fleetwood Mac, or don't say, I don't know, don't say anything that sucks.
Well, I'm going to say something, and it's probably already going to have been played.
Yes, before you say this, can I jump in and just mention Greg Black does have, and I mentioned this on the air last week, he has a mental connection with us. Mm-hmm. Like, we have, no lie, and I showed you the list once, Steve. I have a list of 1,000 songs that I intend to play throughout the semester, like, not only throughout the semester, but throughout the year 2015. Like, this is a grand plan that started in January, and we're still on track with it. 1,000 songs that I intend to play, which means that chances are you're never going to hear the same one twice. Greg, on multiple occasions, has called later in a show and requested a exact song that I played. Not an artist, but an exact song that I have played earlier in the show.
I think he's laughing.
I think he is. So with that in mind, Greg, what do you want to hear?
I would like to hear some Ramblin' Man by the Allman Brothers.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Now, we did play Allman Brothers earlier in the show, but we did not play Ramblin' Man.
No.
What did you play?
We played Blue Sky.
Ooh, that's a good one, too.
Yes. It would be great if you were like, I was really close to requesting that, and then I went with Ramblin' Man instead.
It would have been my second choice.
All right. Well, that's close enough. The mental connection continues.
Indeed. You know it.
All right. Well, so I was going to say get back to work, but you're off work. So keep drinking the not your father's root beer stuff that you're hiding from me, apparently. And while you do that, we'll play your song in the next block.
I will. Good luck in your search.
Thank you.
Greg Black to the moon and back.
I like that.
Very nice.
That's catchy. You have to sign off with that every time now. You realize that, right?
Absolutely, my friends.
Absolutely. All right. Sounds
nice
good.
Speaking to you.
Have a good night.
Thanks, Greg. You too.
Moon and back.
Take care. I like that. I like that our callers have a catchphrase now.
I think they all should. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they should.
They,
quote unquote, they all should. Because there's so many.
Well, there's at least 3.
Oh, well, three is better than 0, I guess. Mm-hmm. I'll take that. Hey, let's play some music so we can all eat our food.
Exactly.
Steve's like, thank Christ. Another big block of classic rock coming up. Got CCR on deck, and we'll get to the Allman Brothers for Greg. Next, SNS on BIM.
Hitting the bars or hitting the book. We'll make your night rock with Robb Hicks and Bridgewater's Saturday Night Soundtrack on 91.5 WBIM.
Aerosmith 91.5 WBIM Bridgewater. Saturday Night Soundtrack, that was off the first album that they ever did, which is called Aerosmith, of course. And 9 minutes after 9, Robb Hicks, Steve Rimmer, and then there were 2.
And then I was just about to say that.
Oh, great minds think alike.
Exactly.
Like with pens.
Yes.
Call us up, 508-531-1303. You can like us on Facebook, Saturday Night Soundtrack, and you can follow us on Twitter at SN Soundtrack. Brendan Smith has left for the night. He's like, you guys are insane. Doing 4 hours is too much. I've had it with you, but now there's 3.
No, he's 18. It's a Saturday night.
True.
No, I'm not. I'm 59. You already had it with me. I can leave right now if you want. Oh, you guys are probably hip on that.
You know, he said to me before he left, and I strongly advised him not to mention this out loud, that he had only met him for 1 week, but he already missed Jarrod.
I know. I heard a little bit of that.
And I was like, don't Don't tell him that, man. No. I mean, I'm reasonably certain that Jarrod's probably not listening to us at this moment, so it's fine, but I just advised him to sort of keep those emotions to himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Advisable.
Yeah, Nick, that's a good idea. Your breathing
I'm back.
is emanating through the mic. Are you okay?
Am I okay?
It sounds like you're breathing really heavy.
I'm still Mikey D. I'm walking, I'm talking. Isn't that enough?
I mean, that's fine. I just want to make sure you don't have a heart attack here in the studio. I don't know mouth to mouth and don't think I would apply it even if I did.
If I am going to drop, BIM is the only place to drop. But the good thing, Mr.
Well, that's true.
Mr. Hicks, the good thing about that is if it does happen, we got old Stevie boy here going to give me mouth to mouth.
Oh, I think I should leave now. Where's Brendan? Did he leave?
I know he'll bring me back to life.
Eventually, it's just going to be me here in the studio, isn't it?
Yes,
it's going to be like when I first started this show. It's just going to be me.
Yeah.
So,
I've got to be me.
Yeah.
All right, so what's going on? You want my pick?
I do want your pick. As a matter of fact, I want your pick because I think what we're going to do is I think we're going to turn this into a Zeppelin threefer because I had a couple of other Zeppelin tunes I was going to play, and I think we're going to group them all together.
What was the request? Oh, no, you told me. We played it already. Okay.
Yep, we played that already. So, I meant to mention, though, that we got Blues Brothers in there in the last block by request. Expressway to Your Heart live, and also heard Ramblin' Man from Allman Brothers, and that was a request as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Made my selection.
Go for it.
Off of Led Zeppelin's first album, How Many More Times?
Yeah, good song. Good song. We'll do it.
All right.
We will do it.
What am I missing out on?
I think pretty much all you need to say, by the way, is from Led Zeppelin's first album, and I'm with you, because that first album was just phenomenal. Mm-hmm. That was just the first album, and there were tracks on the third album that I could take or leave, but the first and second, like, just taken together, are just two amazing creations. I love those albums.
I was discussing it with Bob and Brendan Earl and Steve. I got a different name
Bob
for you.
Who is Bob?
I got a different name for you every time I come up here.
I feel like I don't get confused that often, but who's Bob?
I don't even know.
What's going on?
All right, back to Steve-O here and Brendan.
Yeah.
We're talking about Zeppelin.
Sure.
And what do you call it? How Many More Times?
Yeah.
Just great pick. And also, their first album, right? Do people realize you don't even have to pay close attention to it? Their first album, right? Very blues oriented.
Oh, absolutely.
Incredible.
Absolutely. And I always thought it was amusing, and maybe I don't know, maybe there's something I'm missing. I am admittedly not a part of the the overall metal movement. I mean, there's some stuff from metal that I like, and there's other stuff that I really could do without. And I find it funny, though, that so many people still consider, or they'll say, that they consider Led Zeppelin to be like the godfathers of metal.
No.
Why? Because
I can understand their hit.
They were so bluesy, they were so folksy, but metal is the one thing I don't think of them being.
Probably because they got, I don't know, it's a rock and roll, but at that time it was a little advanced, a little more heavy. I don't know. I can understand where those individuals are coming from. But to a point.
But I mean, at the same time, it's like you've got Black Sabbath, who came out a couple of years after Zeppelin did, and obviously they were. I get that they came out after Zeppelin, so the theory still is that Zeppelin were the godfather, but the music is totally different.
Of course,
like you said, you've got the heavy, you've got like the hard jam and blues records. You've got the folksy stuff that they did, lots of token references and stuff like that. I don't get how that's sort of godfather of metal-ish, but either way, I love Led Zeppelin. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
But I take it as a sort of a compliment in a way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're not. I mean, nobody who says that is saying it disparagingly.
Oh, no,
I just don't really get the connection. But whatever floats your boat.
Hey, true.
That's how it's going to go. So 508-531-1303. Call us up. Let us know what you want to hear. And what else is going on with your night, Mike?
It's very steady as usual. Any calls?
Oh, yeah, we've gotten a couple of calls.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Greg called.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Ramblin' Man. That was his.
Okay. What else did the young lad have to say?
He's working at a liquor store, but he won't tell us where.
He won't tell us where. Right. I requested a specific type of liquor. He said, yeah, I've got that. You should come get it. And I was like, okay, where are you? He's like, I can't tell you that. Okay. So that's going to make it...
He doesn't want to tell me where he is because he knows what the results will be.
Going to make it a little difficult for me to acquire my product, sir, is all I'm saying.
But he's listening.
He is listening. That is the part that counts. That's the part that counts.
So did that kid from around the corner, the new kid there, Nick, did he call? No?
No, unless the... No,
he's listening. He better. I told him he better listen.
I will tell you that I didn't fully catch and I didn't want to have him say it a third time, but it was cutting out, so I didn't fully catch the name of the person who requested Expressway to Your Heart. Potentially could have been him. It could have sounded like Nick, potentially. It was a one-syllable name.
All right.
I don't know. If it was you, Nick, thank you for listening and calling and requesting a song. If it wasn't you, Nick, what the hell? Why have you not called and requested a song yet? We've shouted out to you a few times. Mikey D made it expressly clear that you should be listening to us.
I left the building to go down there to remind him.
Now, again,
how dare he?
I'm going to go a little easy in case that caller actually was him, because potentially that it could. The phone was cutting out a little bit. Didn't want to make the man repeat himself a third time. But if it wasn't, the admonitions that we just uttered still stand.
All right, now one more.
Yeah.
Joel.
Oh,
nothing?
Too early.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Here it is at almost 9:15. Too early.
Yeah, too early. We'll hear from Joel at like 10:45.
Yeah, we'll hear from him. He'll probably pick a minute and a half song. You know,
it's gonna be like, yeah, exactly. Can I hear American Pie? No, you can't.
American Pie. Yeah, we'll continue it to next time.
Right, it's 10:57. You cannot. Why don't you tell the people who run this building that you want to hear American Pie, and let you work it out with them?
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you right now how that's going to go.
All right, so
Not too great.
Everything's been going smooth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very steady as usual. So
Good.
Night goes by quick. I get my exercise, body, arms, joints, including my mouth up here. Right.
Yes. Let's not list any more parts.
Hey, Steve, notice how quick he said yes.
Yes.
I did. Hey, you want to get into our Led Zeppelin threefer?
Sure.
That's why I'm here, brother.
There we go. 91.5 WBIM Bridgewater. Led Zeppelin threefer on deck, which will include How Many More Times as a tribute to John Bonzo Bonham.
Call in your classic rock request now at 508-531-1303. If you don't, Rob Hicks will play a half an hour of Bruce Hornsby.
That's just the way it is.
This is your chance to save the town of Bridgewater. 91.5 WBIM.
Led Zeppelin 91.5 WBIM Bridgewater. SNS radio show, that one, of course, off of their first album, just simply titled Led Zeppelin. And that track there, that 8.5-minute epic track, was a song that I was listening to. They were playing it on the radio the other day, probably within the past, a couple of weeks or so. And it was just one of those days I was just stuck in traffic and just things weren't really moving all that great. And that song came on, and
bowel problems again.
That song came on, and well, it just made sitting in traffic a little bit easier.
Of course,
at least for that 8.5 minutes. That's wrapping up a three for Led Zeppelin, and of course, in tribute to John Bonzo Bonham, who passed away 35 years ago yesterday, September 25th, 1980, is when he passed away, and as a little tribute to him, that song that we just played, How Many More Times, when that was originally released, the original album cover, or the song listings on the album cover, listed that song as being 3 minutes and 30 seconds long. Clearly not the case. Some people say it was an Some people say it was an honest mistake, and other people say that Jimmy Page did that on purpose so that radio stations would actually play the song.
Oh, yeah, because back in the day, like, you get the original kind of Freebird.
Yep.
One of those old songs, they only played like, 45, 45 version.
Yeah, they'd play the single version, and you'd get, 4 or 5 minutes at most, and that'd be about it. So people say that he put the wrong time on the record deliberately so that they'd play the track.
If he did, good for him. I love it.
And it's great, except it makes me wonder who these DJs were back in the day who couldn't just look at grooves on an album and be like, that thing's not 3 minutes and 30 seconds long.
Yeah, no
how wide is this track? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. It was probably even easier to see back then because you were physically looking at the damn thing. But hey, if it worked, and if he did it on purpose, like you said, good for him. So be it. Great track, great album, and great drummer. So once again, rest in peace, John Bonzo Bonham.
One thing I like to mention, now you got Jason Bonham following his father's footsteps, doing a fantastic job.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Played some stints with Zeppelin some years ago.
He's doing a lot of stuff with, he's been playing, there's one track that I love that was played at the Kennedy Center Honors, in fact, a couple of years back, where Hart did Stairway to Heaven with John Bonham's son on drums, and wow, great track. It's a great live version of that song, yeah. And it's a weird combination, and you wouldn't tend to think of them, but if you I think if you want anyone to cover Led Zeppelin songs, you want Heart to do it. Mm-hmm. And that seems unusual to say, but it's absolutely true.
Have you heard them do rock and roll?
I've heard them do rock and roll.
Incredible.
There's a track that I played at some point in, I think last semester, and I'll probably play it again this semester, where they did Battle of Evermore.
Yeah.
On their Alive in Seattle album, and that thing's incredible too.
I hear that every so often.
Yeah, they'll play that on the radio every so often. It's great. It's a great track, and just I don't know, just great stuff because the source material is so great, and they don't change it all that much, but they just put their own spin on it. And once again, with John Bonham's son doing drums, anytime they play live, that's only going to help. Mm-hmm. So. 508-531-1303. Call us up, and if any of you out there keeping score. First of all, get a life. Second of all, if you're keeping score of the people who call us and make requests and so forth, get your pens and pencils ready. You don't want to make notes on this because it's going to get confusing. So we finally figured out who called up and requested the Blues Brothers song, The Expressway to Your Heart. It was not Nick. For all I know, we have not heard from Nick yet, by the way, down at Tedeschi's.
But he's listening, hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah. Because you told him to. But it wasn't Nick, and I know this because the caller called back and told me that it wasn't Nick. It was Greg, and it was not Greg Black. It was, hold on, wait for this, it's Greg Gray. Greg Gray is Greg Black's cousin. If you think that I just let that go without asking, is this legit? Because this doesn't sound legit. No, I asked. I played Snopes on this deal, and apparently he said that is 100% true. They are cousins.
The Gray and Black family.
Yeah, and he incidentally wanted me to give Greg Black his regards from his cousin, Greg Gray. So we're like...
Black and Gray. I love it.
We're sort of like Facebook here. Like, we're passing along messages
more like Harmony.com by the sounds of it.
Amongst the Black and Gray family, apparently.
What would you expect? Saturday Night Soundtrack.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is, I guess. I guess it's our function now.
Yeah.
But, so I guess Greg Gray is listening to us too, and that's one more listener, and I'm fine with that.
That's very good.
I didn't ask him where his cousin works because we're still trying to figure that out. Maybe I should have.
Well, we know he works at a package store.
Well, we know that.
How many would there be around here?
Oh, good. How many would be in a college community?
Right.
I lost count already before I started.
In a college community on a dry campus. Let's just mention that too. But that apparently doesn't really make that much of a difference. A lot of stuff going on today. So I wanted to ask you too, Mike. Did you? I mean, I know you said everything was steady as usual. Big uptick because they had the Autumn Fest going on today.
Probably.
Yeah.
Just a little more people in the building passing through, doing what you got to do before you head over to the Autumn Fest.
You're not passing through literally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Based on the story that you told us last week.
Oh, yeah.
That was a little disturbing. Not going to lie.
I'd forgotten about that. Thanks for reliving it.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. It's my pleasure, sir, to dredge up unpleasant stories.
We're slowly getting callers.
Yes, callers is good.
Not just callers. We're getting cousins of callers.
We're getting cousins of callers. We'll take brothers and sisters of callers. Have you ever noticed that no females really call this show?
I guess they don't know I'm up here.
I mean, I think we got...
If it was video, I think we'd get many more female callers.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Absolutely. Maybe
I think we'll stick with the voice.
Banging down the doors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah, we know. We got one female caller last semester, and I don't know if you remember this because I remember Jarrod was all excited about it, and he's like, maybe she'll call back. And I was like, sir, that was trust me, that was apparently a one-time thing. If they don't call back within a couple of weeks, then you can pretty much guarantee that they've probably fallen off the face of the radio earth.
If a babe called and he's here, believe me, he got excited. Okay,
and he sits right next to Steve every week.
Hey,
Steve, once again, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So far, no babes have called the last 3 shows here, huh?
I'm sure referring to them as babes is probably not helpful, but no babes have called.
Okay. All you females out there, Saturday night, obviously you're doing nothing between the hours of 5 and 11 p.m., get the hell on the phone and start dialing 508-531-1303. Classic rock, maybe some blues, we'll play it for you. But you got to exert yourself, with the finger on the phone. Now, pronto. Make it quick. We only got about an hour and 20 minutes left. All right, so we want to hear. If it's one call, that's fine. More, even better.
If that's not endearing, nothing is. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think
So spread the word.
The floodgates. Floodgates are going to open now. I'm going to go right into the music because I got to free myself up for all the phone calls that are about to come in.
Yeah.
Come on, all you luscious spades, don't hesitate. All right, so what do we what's coming up next?
Oh, we got a Meatloaf on deck, actually. So that was the whole point of my telling the Greg Gray story, is that Greg Gray, while he was on the phone, made a Meatloaf request. We got Meatloaf on deck.
Which one is it?
Going to play 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad.
All right, next week I'm going to make a request for a Meatloaf, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, one of my all-time favorite rock songs.
I like me some Meatloaf. What I really like is I like Jim Steinman.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Who wrote Meatloaf songs.
Exactly.
But Meatloaf sings his songs excellently. But Jim Steinman writing songs is just incredible. Because Jim Steinman, writes these ridiculously opulent rock opera epic type songs.
I was just going to say opera.
That, he just goes all out, and they're way over the top. But they're great as long as the right performer.
What's he doing these days? Is he still in existence or what? Any idea?
He's got to be still doing something, right? I don't really know what it is.
But back in 77, 78 when that album, Bat Out of Hell got released.
Yeah, Bat Out of Hell 77, yeah. And Meatloaf has been doing stuff, he's been doing Jim Steinman stuff ever since. Meatloaf himself is touring all over the place. He'll play anything. I think but the thing is, he'll literally tour any place. I think he's I forget if he's at Foxwoods or Twin Rivers within the next month or two. He's doing something like that. He's doing stuff like that.
You think he'll ever play at the Campus Center?
Yes. Let's call him and ask.
Yeah.
You know what? We follow him on Twitter. Why don't I just send him a tweet and see if he'll play here? I'll let you know if I get a response from that. Please don't hold your breath.
No kidding. Yeah.
As it sounds like he's holding his breath.
Just let me know when I start turning all different shades of green and purple.
And black and gray.
Yeah, black. Yeah, Greg and Greg.
Oh, here's a fun one.
Yeah.
January 2012, Steinman is working with Terry Jones of Monty Python fame on a heavy metal version of the Nutcracker.
Interesting. And that was 3 years ago. So,
yeah. So maybe
that ought to be interesting.
Are we to assume that got shelved, or that they're actually still working on that thing?
I don't know.
Heavy metal version of the Nutcracker with Jim Steinman. It sounds very interesting.
Yeah, interesting would be the word for it.
He got an honorary degree from Amherst College as well in 2012. So.
Oh, nice.
Oh, 3 new songs, 2013, Steinman and Meatloaf.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Yep.
They're just an unstoppable duo.
Yeah, there's nothing past 2014, though. So.
I'd like to know where Meatloaf found this guy.
Still pretty good.
How he came into existence. That'd be an interesting story.
Steve, Google that for the next time. We'll find out the Jim Steinman Meatloaf story and connection for you.
All right, my friends.
More classic rock. Mikey, it's been great as always.
As usual. I want those females out there to call. His name is Robb Hicks. If you're on campus, 1303. If you're not, it's 508-531-1303.
I'm sure there's going to be no stopping them now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
SNS on the ice.
Love you. Bye. I'll see you next week.
And classic rock. They just go together like bacon and hot fudge sundaes.
Whatever.
Just trust us on this, okay? Bacon and hot fudge sundaes. Yum. The Saturday night soundtrack with Robb Hicks on 91.5 WBIM.
Judas Priest, 91.5 WBIM Bridgewater. SNS radio show. If you thought you were done with us, well, you got another thing coming.
We're still here.
Oh, we're here for the next hour. Give us a call, 508-531.
Actually, we're only here for another 55 minutes.
It's true, 55 minutes. But you can still call 508-531-1303 and get a song on.
Call us within the next 40 minutes, maybe.
Yes. Because you got to, you know what I mean? You people don't understand the pressure we're under. It's not as bad as it was last year by any stretch of the imagination, at least so far.
Yep.
But for the love of God, you don't understand. You people need to understand that we have time constraints that we can't get around. I find it also amusing, and I think I mentioned this last week, that I go by this clock that's off to my left. And if you take a look at your iPhone, you will notice that this clock is a few minutes fast. And yet they're always still looking for us to leave by about 5 minutes before 11 on this clock, which has got to be 10 minutes before 11 on a regular phone or a regular clock.
Exactly.
But, I always lock everything up, and it's gonna be good enough.
Did you get the keys back, by the way?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
Just got to make sure of that. Make sure that's the possibility. So, did you hear about the old guy that got punched in the face?
It wasn't me.
Over the So there's a apparently there was some sort of a scuffle over some Nutella waffle samples that were happening at a what was it, a BJ's or something like that?
Yeah, I did hear. Yes, I heard something about this.
And they were try to find it, as a matter of fact, because and I'm going to tweet out a link to the actual story, and the reason that I'm going to do that is because if you see the guy who actually punched the old guy, the guy who punched him just looks like the biggest D-bag in the world.
Which he probably is.
Oh, absolutely. But he's taking more selfies than a teenage girl.
Oh, my.
And it's like, that's all they I find it funny that all they did was, like, cycle through his selfies. when they were actually doing the story. Because the story, when I saw it, was on CNN, and they just had a short video on it. Let's see if I can find it here. And the guy just looks like he's just a degenerate. And apparently what happened was, and I heard the story wrong the first time. I thought the old guy was actually taking all the samples. Apparently the young guy was like trying to get, like, the old guy was at the thing trying to get a sample, and this kid came up and like took 5 or 6 samples, or like took whatever was left on the table or something like that. And the guy said something like, you probably, you should leave some for everyone else, and then punched in the face.
Oh, wow.
Is pretty much what it came down to.
They got the guy, though?
They got the guy. He's going to spend like 10 years in jail because he assaulted an elderly person, and there's all sorts of other charges for that. Here's the story from CNN, actually.
Investigators say a fight over free Nutella waffle samples at this Burbank Costco.
How did that just freeze up on me?
Sent a 78-year-old man to the hospital with a 1-inch cut to his face, and 24-year-old Derek Garabigi to jail.
Yeah, it's a shame that it had to come to this over, a Nutella sample.
Burbank police say the elderly man told officers he was reaching for a Nutella waffle at a sample table last Sunday morning when prosecutors say Garabigi took all of the remaining samples. Investigators say the 78-year-old told Garabigi he shouldn't take so many samples when police say Garabigi punched the elderly man in the face.
It's a tragic situation where someone, in their 70s, almost 80 years old, is faces something like this.
I don't know what it's... So basically, and then a lot of people were tweeting back, and they were saying things like, you might want to lay off the Nutella waffles, dude. And the guy's not fat, but they're basically saying, like, you obviously have some issues that are unresolved, in your life, that this is a problem. The other interesting aspect that story brought up about Nutella in general is that, did you notice that everyone in that story was pronouncing it Nutella?
Yes.
Did you notice that even the cop who was given the statement to CNN actually said Nutella? Like he was already coached on how to, because I've always called it Nutella. Because it's hazelnut spread. It's made out of hazelnuts. Therefore, it's Nutella. But then apparently there was also I guess Nutella put out the company itself put out a statement at some point within the past week or so, and it actually said that it was pronounced Nutella.
Nutella.
And I find that odd. Your product is made of hazelnuts. It's Nutella. I don't really care what they say. I'm going to keep calling it Nutella, and I don't care if it's wrong or not.
Talking about nuts.
Sure.
The guy that was the CEO of the peanut company.
Yeah.
And they had a problem in one of the factories, and they sent a memo to him saying that they thought they had a problem that could cause some illnesses if they sent out this peanut butter product, and he said, just ship it.
Nice.
So he's now got to be serving 28 years in prison.
That's
he's
fantastic.
61, he'll probably die in jail.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. I wish they'd do this to more executives.
Yeah.
VW. Chevy.
Yeah, right.
No, paying $18 billion in fines, but none of them go to jail.
None of them go to jail.
Some poor broke kid steals something in a store and goes to jail for 5 years.
Yep, absolutely.
So, yeah, Stuart Parnell is his name. He was the owner of the Peanut Corporation of America. 28 years in jail. Well done.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Yeah, yes. There you go.
Exactly.
There you go. Maybe this dude will see him. He's going to be in jail for 10 or 11 years. And again,
they put all the nuts together.
If it had just been like a regular assault charge, obviously that wouldn't have been the case. But the fact that he assaulted like a 78-year-old guy, that was definitely what put it over the edge. And I'm sure he didn't expect to be spending 10 years in jail for this, but
yeah. Oh no.
It's all That's all I have to say. I will tweet out the article that was from CNN because everybody has to see this dude's pictures because it's ridiculous. He's got one with his tongue hanging out.
Oh, God.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no... Not to...
I can't take selfies. Do you realize this? Every time I try and take them, I look so stupid.
I don't try to take them at all.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something, and it's going to almost sound like either Mikey D or Jarrod-ish, but, like, I feel like guys have no reason to take... I feel like they have no business taking selfies.
No, nobody wants to look at them.
If you're a guy and you're taking a selfie, freaking stop it. Nobody wants you to take selfies. You're a guy. It's not supposed to happen.
Guys look at selfies. They don't take them.
If you want to call me sexist for this, that's totally fine.
Sexist.
Guys, stop. See, I'm fine with it. Stop taking selfies. That's all I have to say. So 508-531-1303, call us up. We got one last classic rock block before we head out, so your request could be part of it if you call us right now. Do it.
It's not ringing.
Do it.
Nope.
Where are all the females that Mikey D was going to get us?
Babes. Where's the babes?
Luscious beauties or whatever he said. Oh, Mikey D. Another big classic rock block coming up. SNS BIM.
From ACDC to CC Top, we've got the biggest collection of classic rock in Bridgewater. You're listening to the Saturday Night Soundtrack with Robb Hicks on 91.5 WBIM.
It's 91.5 WBIM Bridgewater. Saturday Night Soundtrack just about ready to wrap it up for another week. Yeah, 6 hours went fast again, like they always do.
It did. It was a different week as well.
Yeah, it was a different week. And we didn't have Jarrod, but Brendan was here for another 4 hours again. I hope he's getting something out of it. You know what I mean?
I think he is.
I think he's enjoying it a lot. I hope it's what he wanted it to be. Because I realize that, like, the experience interning with alums is probably a lot different than doing it with actual students. So I just want to make sure that he gets, the focus that he needs.
He's catching a professional show.
But he definitely looks like he's enjoying it. And he's enjoying the ambiance. And, he misses people, and I advised him not to mention that. So we should be fine.
Yeah.
So anyway, catch us next week. Brendan asked a good question, which I didn't really have the answer for, but I will look into it and let you know. He said, is next weekend Columbus Day weekend, or is it the weekend after? And I said I didn't know. But then he said that he wasn't going to be on campus for Columbus Day weekend. I said that's fine. And then the other question that came to my mind is this building going to be open on Columbus Day weekend? Because we're getting to the point now where I've almost been doing this show for a year. So we're going to get to a point where eventually I'm going to know, like, from last year, which days the building was open and which days it wasn't. But Columbus Day weekend is one that came just before I started doing this, so I don't actually know if they're open or not. I think they are. If they were open on the Saturday of Labor Day weekend, then I would assume they would be open on the Saturday of Columbus Day weekend, and the Thanksgiving holiday would just be the only one they legitimately wouldn't be here for because it would just be a break. So I don't really know, but I'll keep you posted if anything happens regarding that, but I'm going to assume business as usual until, of course, the 24th.
But that's the Columbus Day weekend's the weekend, it'd be the 10th.
Okay, so it's not, that's what we thought.
Yeah.
So it's not next weekend, it's the weekend after.
Yep.
But I think we will, I don't think there'll be a building issue.
No.
I think we would still be here. I think like I said, I know the building's not open on the Saturday of the Thanksgiving weekend. And I also know that again, we're going to be doing an abbreviated show on October 24th for the Alumni Takeover Reunion. Steve and I are going to go out and have a good time. Then we're going to come back here and do a show.
Drunk. Skunks.
We're going to give Mikey D a little run for his money.
Yes.
Is what we're going to do.
Oh, yes. We might do that little bathroom trick that he was telling us about.
Yes, I think that needs to happen, as a matter of fact.
Well, you see what he does on a Saturday night. He needs more work.
I think so, because he always says, it's steady as usual.
Yes.
But he's got 20, 30 minutes at a pop to sit here with us.
Yeah.
And just, sometimes I think maybe it's not as bad as he makes it sound.
And he did say tonight that Saturday is the only night where he's here alone, so.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So.
except for when he's got like bosses and stuff like looking over his shoulder, and then he's always all anxious and antsy and whatever.
I do like the way that they always give him 2 days off in a row each week, though. That's kind of nice.
That is nice. At least that kind of consistency is something I wasn't sure if he would get, or if anybody would get in that line of work, and obviously in like on a college campus as well. We should have asked him about the big tent. If he was involved in the big tent at all, but I doubt he would be.
No,
I don't see why he would. I think too
dangerous.
I get the impression that Mikey D is pretty much. I think his domain is this campus center. I don't think he does any.
Well, he just mentioned going across the street.
True, but I get the feeling.
One of the building.
I get the feeling that this is the main. This is the main core of what he does. So more power to him. So we're gonna get out of here in a bit. I'm really surprised that no one's showed up yet for the keys.
Nope.
But I'm good with it.
That's fine.
One thing I want to mention on the air before we head out is what you were just showing me out in the hallway there. So in the lobby or vestibule, whatever you want to call it, of the station, they have a display case of some old equipment and everything that they put up, and it's supposed to look like, it's cool because it's old antique equipment that nobody's familiar with, and look at the old days. And I looked at it and I pointed it out to Steve right away, and I said, I recognize that cart machine. I used to have to use that thing in the late 90s when I needed to play things in between songs. We didn't have really a lot of CD burning capability back then. Carts were what we had, and that thing was a nightmare to use. I am very glad we have CDs and the technology that we have now. Woohoo technology.
Yes.
You kids don't know what you're missing, and you don't want to know either.
Kids with flushing toilets.
You don't have to break the ice first.
Yeah.
We'll tell you that story next week or never.
No.
Or never. Never is probably good too.
Yes.
So, Steve, thank you once again.
Thank you, Rob.
And we'll be heading out.
Thank you, Jarrod, for the chance to speak.
This is the last time you're ever going to hear me say a complete sentence. This is it. So I'm enjoying it while it lasts. Take care. We're going to see you next week. We're going to send you out with Lita Ford and Ozzy Osbourne off her album Lita. Let's close my eyes forever. See you next week. SNS. Bye.
Baby.